Well, it's goodbye. For now. Not forever. But for now. I miss this place. I really am. But we're back on the road again. It's been a while, but things are falling into place, guys. We're leaving home. That's where we are right now. Just taken off and heading out of Warrnambool, Victoria, which is my hometown where I live. There's the airport over there to the right-hand side. We've just come from. And time to get on the road again. Might remember last time in the last episode we were talking about trying to get ourselves lined up with a deal to head over to the States and race some dirt racing, and in particular our journey to try and make it to the Chili Bowl. Race over there in midgets in January. That's still the plan and things are looking good. But we've got a few things that we have to organise before we get to that. And part of that is obviously getting ourselves stateside. We need to get to America, and well, to start with, that means leaving where we are here at home, which is always sad, but race drivers do as race drivers do. Got to follow the burning fuel and rubber. So that's what we're doing today. Heading out of town. We're actually flying from here to Avalon Airport to get a connecting flight to Sydney, and then we'll jump on the big jet in Sydney, head over to LA, and that's where our journey begins in America here for the next little bit. But yeah, for today we're just going to leave here out of town and make our way, basically get that journey started. Might fly back across the city here and over the house just one last time. It's a pretty small place, Warrnambool, Victoria, but it's well known in small circles, particularly in dirt racing terms, because a lot of good Australian dirt track drivers come from here. They've got one of the best and finest racetrack facilities in the country and in the world, really. Premier Speedway here, and we might even fly past there on the way out of town. Maybe we go have a quick look at the track on our way out of town. But it's only a couple of minutes away here from the airport by air, so we'll do that. Check that out. But more sad news this week to come out of the out of the racing world is the loss of another legend in the world of motorsport, another open wheel legend, but not in Formula One this time around. We're actually talking about Al Unser Sr., who famous IndyCar driver from a very famous IndyCar family, really. He raced from the 60s, 70s into the 80s professionally. He's an extremely successful open wheel driver. For those that don't know, I'd be surprised if you've never heard of Al Unser before, but some people, even like myself, probably don't know his story that well as we start to descend a little bit down here into the city. But an extremely successful IndyCar driver, won Triple Crown in IndyCar Triple Crown in 1978. He won the IndyCar World Series in the 80s a couple of times. The big one though is the Indy 500, which he won several times as well. He won it in 1970, 71, 78, and I think it was 87. And a very, very successful driver from an era of IndyCars that terrify me. It's we'll talk more about him. First, let's just have one last little look here at the city. I saw my house back there, fly over the top. It's a really pretty place here, especially this time of year. It's summertime here in December. Weather's good, the beaches are great. An awesome place to be, and of course it's speedway season here at the minute too, which is always good. Bank around here over the top of the city. It's the Hopkins River heading out to the ocean. As we head to the eastern side of town, we will head towards the speedway. It's only a couple of minutes out of town. It takes less than 10 minutes to get to the speedway from my place, as our airspeed is far too high at the minute. Our RPMs have been a bit up as well. Burning fuel for the sake of burning fuel. Flatten out here a little bit, and of course out there on the right you can see the coastline, one of the more famous parts of this part of the world as well. A huge tourist destination, south coast of Victoria, the Great Ocean Road, and this is where it begins here. It's all the way up towards, well, almost up to where we're flying to today, really. Hopkins River looking pretty. Sort of just below us here now is the edge of town already. You can see the last few houses down here on the right hand side. Down there, and then that's the university on the very edge of town that we're flying over now. And then it's the highway. Uni. Let's see if we look forwards up here in a second. It's about to be able to catch the view of the track, but out there over the right hand side, that ocean is the sea mist. It's famous down at Warrnambool at Premier Speedway. The rain on a hot dry day at the track, just a little bit of sea mist, as Gav White would say. It's so cold of a night time here even on a good day. Anyway,
500.
There's the highway down here on the right hand side. We're about to come up to view the track. Sort of bank around here a little bit. We should be able to just about see it coming into view here any second, I reckon. Yep, here it is. A little bit different looking grandstand there, but that's it. That's the track. Premier Speedway, Warrnambool. One of the greatest places to race. I'm looking forward to this trip. It should be great. I love travelling, and some people said that I was absolutely insane for getting on a plane the way that the world is at the minute. You'd have to be super brave to get on a plane, people say. But I think you'd have to be super brave to drive an Indy car in the 70s and 80s. So picture this, it's late in the race, only a handful of laps to go. It is 1985. And we are at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A few cars get together right there, that was tight. We are in these fire-breathing, ground-pounding, absolutely terrifying Indy cars. Riding aboard Al Unser Senior's Penske Mark 85C. I'll tell you what, driving cars like this, like the idea of this terrifies me. Even today, IndyCar racing is terrifying to me. The speeds are just so fast. There's a lot of aero wash. But it's late in the race. Restart. Here we go. See, we're running here in about, what is this, 7th position at the minute. I don't know a lot about these cars. Like, they're ground effects type open wheelers from an era of open wheeler racing that technology was really pushing forwards. And the cars were just getting so fast and rapid. Kind of right in that era, right between the 1970s where the cars were just really powerful and fast but extremely unsafe, and current day open wheeler racing, which is still arguably very unsafe but more technological. This is kind of in the middle of that development, for that is massively tight. We almost got the wall right there. Ooh. And the aero wash behind the other cars is really insane. Look at the draft though. Oh. Oh, he's wide. He's wide. He's wide. He's had to check up. Beautiful. That was a great pass in the end. But the inputs in these are just so minute, like the tiniest little input. And the car has such a major reaction to it. And the sounds are incredible. Listen to the boost. Oh man. 1985, that was an interesting year actually in Indy cars in general, but particularly the Indy 500. This is the race that Rick Mears made his reappearance to IndyCar after he broke his legs in 1984. This is his first race. In fact, they actually had Al Unser Sr. here in a third Penske car, as he'd stepped in to replace Rick for the season when he got injured. So it was interesting to have a third car for Penske back at this race, but ultimately this wouldn't be one of the years that Al Unser Sr. went on to win the Indy 500. He finished, I think it was 4th, I think he finished in this race. But it was incredible how fast these cars were, even back in 1985. Like the pole lap was, it was something like 215 miles an hour or something, average speed across 4 laps. Because for those that don't know, in the Indy 500, qualifying is across 4 laps average. Oh, that was, we should have been in the wall right there. And again, oh, it was so tight in the toe. Car gets so tight. Oh wow, that car would be big time damaged. Oh, pinched below the line. I mean, super awkward. Actually, Danny Sullivan had a massive spin in this race with Mario Andretti. They had this enormous, it was almost like that, with it pinched below the line and caused a spin, and the two of that car there would be out of the race for sure right there. Yeah, and they had this dramatic spin. They nearly took each other out of the race and continued. It was just like that, pinched below the line. But despite the fact that this, back to what I was saying, despite the fact that this wasn't a year that Al Unser Sr. would go on to win the 500, it was one of the years that he went on to win the championship. He actually won the championship in 1985 by 1 solitary point over his son, Al Unser Jr. In the last race, he managed to finish 4th in the last race of the championship. Junior managed to finish 3rd, and it was not enough. For a long time in that race, Al Sr. was running in 5th, and that would have meant that Junior would have won the championship. But he managed to make the pass for 4th and claim the championship by 1 point over his son. Truly fascinating story. A very, very successful racing family. The Unsers. Just sad to hear of another legends of American motorsports passing away this week. I mean, it happens, it's the way it is, but although IndyCar's never been my thing and open wheel racing has never been my thing, even I knew who Al Unser Sr. was, despite not following the sport at all from afar. Such is the name. I mean, he made some appearances in NASCAR and stuff like that too on the road course side, but you can't argue the fact that this guy, one of the all-time greats in American motorsport. Laps are winding down here. I don't have a lap counter on me. All right, there it is. That's the white flag. This is the last lap. That was a nice, easy pass in the end. Oh. This is the last lap. Here we go. Turn 3 for the final time. Oh, it's tight. Can we get through? One more corner. Right on my tail. Can see him in my mirrors. You guys can't. Whoa, that's committed right to the fence, but I think that that's going to be enough. Whoo! Indy 500, baby. And could you imagine being around and racing cars like those things in the 1980s? It would have been terrifying. The subject of old cars, though, what a beauty we have right here. This is one of the best. More on that in a minute, though. We're back. We finally jumped in the Big Bird. We came across on the plane. We've touched down, and we're here in the States. Finally. It's taken a while, but we're here. We're just out of LA. We've gotten off the plane and we've been hooked up with a hire car. It's not really a hire car, it's just a loaner. And now we're heading up the coast. We're actually headed to San Francisco. We need to go meet someone up here. But we go on the scenic way, as you have to do, up the coastline in one of the all-time greatest cars. And people often ask me what would my dream car be? Like, what's my dream car? And I've got a whole heap of them. I mean, for people that live in Australia, I'd love some kind of Tirana. Like, Tiranas are something that have existed in my family before. The LJXU1, I have a soft spot for that, but also for the A9X V8. Big flared body kit. Very cool. Australian muscle car. That's right up there at the top of the list. But I've always said like a 57 Chev, like, be a nice car to have. Or maybe like a 50s or 60s era pickup truck, preferably Chevrolet, but even an F100 in that era, very cool pickup trucks. I'd love to have something like that to be able to drive around in. But when it comes to American muscle, this is the car. 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Z28, and I think this would be my all-time muscle car. Like, and basically you pick a 1969 muscle car from America and it's a good car. It's hard to get it wrong. Anything in that sort of mid-60s, early 70s range, American muscle, pretty hard to get it wrong, to be honest. But for me, this is the car. 69 Camaro Z28. In the blue with the black stripes down the front. What a bit of kit. This would be the car for me if I was getting a muscle car. Listen to that. What a beauty. Beautiful, and a beautiful piece of road. Talked about that in the last episode a little bit, about one of my favourite roads to drive down. Well, this is what America's got to offer. Great scenic coastal drive in California. Stunning. Low light, getting into the late afternoon, sun peering through. Got my muscle car. Windy road. Beautiful weather. Stunning. Stunning. And I just love this car. But when I was a kid, Gran Turismo 2 was the thing, right? That was the cool game to play when I was a kid. And me and one of my friends used to both play the game, and you used to be able to go to each other's place and you take your memory cards from the PlayStation with you. And you can like buy and sell cars with each other, and you can tune up stuff and race each other online. And we both used to have our one trusty car, and he used to have a Shelby GT 350, fully tuned and spec'd, and I used to have this Camaro Z28 in the blue with the black stripes. Just look at that view. And they were our go-to cars. Like, we tuned them up fully in that game and raced each other all the time. I'm pretty lucky to be able to get to drive one of these things here now. Slow down. I could drive one of these all day. I love that sound. People stop checking out the view. So our plan anyways to go, we're heading up to San Francisco. We've got some meetings to do, and a few people we need to meet, some sponsored deals and things like that we need to organise. Whoa. I don't know if you guys can hear the reverb off the mountain wall there. That's beautiful. San Francisco, 194 miles. It's a long way, but it also doesn't feel like long enough when you get to drive in one of these. Anyway, I'm going to stop, check out the view. Be back in the next one. We continue our journey to the Chili Bowl.